Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. Why not you? Why not you who achieves greatness? Why not you who breaks through every barrier? Why not you who lives a life of abundance, passion, and purpose? You see, somewhere along the way, society, your past, maybe even your own mind convinced you that success, fulfillment, and happiness were reserved for other people. The lucky ones, the chosen ones, the ones with better resources or connections. But that's a lie. Every person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, every champion, every millionaire, every world changer, at some point they stood exactly where you are right now, full of doubt, uncertainty, fear. But the difference? They asked themselves a different question. Not why me, but why not me? Because here's the truth. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you deserve it. Think about it. Right now, someone with less talent, less intelligence, less experience is out there winning. Not because they're better than you, but because they took action. They decided they were done waiting. Done making excuses, so what about accepting a life that was less than what they were capable of? When will you finally say, enough is enough, I refuse to settle? Because the moment you shift your mindset, the moment you say, why not me? Everything changes. You stop seeing obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as stepping stones. You stop looking for reasons why you can't and start finding ways that you can. The world is not waiting for someone else to step up. The world is waiting for you. So today, right now, draw the line, make the decision, raise your standards, choose to believe in yourself at a level you never have before, because success, happiness, impact, they don't belong to them. They belong to you. And if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? Success isn't reserved for the lucky, it's claimed by the bold. Think about that for a moment. Every time you look at someone who has achieved greatness, whether in business, sports, relationships, or any field, it's easy to assume they had an advantage. Maybe they had better resources, better timing, better genetics, or better connections. That's the story most people tell themselves to avoid taking full responsibility for their own potential. But here's the truth. Success has never been about luck. It has always been about courage. It has always been about the willingness to step into uncertainty, to face rejection, to take risks, and to act in the face of fear. The people who succeed at the highest level are not those who wait for the perfect opportunity. They create their own opportunities. They step forward when others hesitate. They take action when others overthink. They decide that no matter what stands in their way, they will find a way through it. They are the bold, the relentless, the ones who refuse to accept mediocrity. If you look at history, you'll see a pattern. Every great leader, every game changer, every person who built something extraordinary started with nothing but an idea and a decision to move forward, a decision to ignore the voice of doubt, a decision to push past fear. They weren't given guarantees. They weren't handed a golden ticket. They simply had the courage to try, to fail, and to try again. Most people never reach their full potential because they wait. They wait for the right time, the right feeling, the right circumstances. They wait for permission. They wait for someone else to believe in them before they believe in themselves. And that's the mistake. The bold don't wait. They don't ask for permission. They don't hope for confidence to show up before they act. They act first and confidence follows. Every successful person has experienced doubt. They've had moments where they questioned whether they were good enough, smart enough, or capable enough. The difference is they didn't let those doubts stop them. They moved forward anyway. They understood that fear is a natural part of growth, that uncertainty is a sign they are stepping outside of their comfort zone, and that discomfort is the price of transformation. If you want to achieve something great, you must rewire your thinking. You must stop looking at challenges as roadblocks and start seeing them as tests of your commitment. The world does not reward hesitation. The world rewards decisiveness. It rewards the person who steps up, who takes the shot, who is willing to bet on themselves even when no one else does. Too many people let fear dictate their choices. They stay in jobs they hate, relationships that drain them, and routines that keep them stuck. Not because they aren't capable of more, but because stepping into the unknown feels too risky. But here's the truth. The real risk is staying where you are. The real risk is living a life that is smaller than what you are capable of. The real risk is looking back years from now and realizing you let fear steal your dreams. Success belongs to those who are willing to take imperfect action. It belongs to those who start before they're ready, who learn on the go, who embrace failure as feedback. It belongs to those who show up, even when they don't feel like it, who push through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. It belongs to those who are relentless in their pursuit of growth, who are willing to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term fulfillment. Most people underestimate what they're capable of because they have been conditioned to play small. They've been told to be realistic, to follow the safe path, to not get their hopes up. But those who break the mold, those who go beyond what anyone expected of them, are the ones who refuse to accept limits. They are the ones who challenge the rules, who ask, why not me, instead of what if I fail? They are the ones who redefine what is possible because they dare to believe in themselves when others don't. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary things and those who don't is not talent, intelligence, or background. It's belief. It's persistence. It's the willingness to keep going when things get hard. It's the ability to get knocked down and rise again, stronger than before. It's the discipline to do the work when no one is watching, when no one is clapping, when the results aren't showing up yet. Success does not show up overnight. It is built day by day, action by action, decision by decision. It is built by those who choose to be bold, who take responsibility for their future, who refuse to be passive observers of their own lives. It is built by those who say, I will find a way, instead of, I hope it happens. If you want more out of life, you must be willing to step into the unknown. You must be willing to trust yourself enough to take the first step, even when you can't see the whole path. You must be willing to risk failure, to embrace discomfort, to push beyond your current limits, because that is the price of greatness. That is what separates those who dream from those who achieve. That is what defines those who claim success instead of waiting for it. Your mindset is the gatekeeper of your destiny. Shift it, and everything changes. Everything you experience in life, every success you achieve, every failure you endure, every challenge you overcome, it all starts in one place, your mind. Your mind is the control center of your reality. It's the lens through which you interpret the world, the engine that drives your actions, the force that determines whether you step forward into greatness or retreat into mediocrity. Most people never realize how much power they hold within their own thoughts. They live their lives believing they are at the mercy of circumstances, that their opportunities are dictated by luck, that success belongs to those with better resources, better connections, or better timing. But the truth is, the greatest advantage you can ever have is a mindset that refuses to accept limitations, a mindset that looks at obstacles and sees opportunities, a mindset that does not wait for the perfect moment but creates it. Everything you have or don't have right now is a reflection of your beliefs. If you believe you are capable, you will act like someone who is capable. If you believe you are limited, you will act like someone who is limited. Your mindset determines whether you take action or make excuses, whether you persist or give up, whether you push forward or stay stuck. Most people don't fail because they aren't talented enough, smart enough, or skilled enough. They fail because their mindset tells them they can't succeed. They fail before they even begin. They let fear and doubt control their choices. They assume their potential is fixed, that their past defines their future, that the voices in their head telling them they're not good enough are telling the truth. But those who achieve greatness understand something different. They understand that success is not about being born with special abilities. It is about training your mind to see possibilities where others see dead ends. Your mind will find evidence to support whatever you believe. If you believe the world is against you, you will find proof of that everywhere. If you believe opportunities are scarce, you will never see them when they are right in front of you. But if you believe you are capable, if you believe that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, if you believe that setbacks are temporary, then your mind will find ways to make that belief a reality. Your brain is wired to filter out information that doesn't align with your existing beliefs, which means that if you want to change your life, you must first change the way you think. The most successful people in the world are not those who never experience failure, fear, or setbacks. They are the ones who have trained their minds to respond to those challenges differently. When they fail, they don't see it as a sign to stop. They see it as feedback, as data, as a lesson to be learned. When they feel fear, they don't let it control them. They use it as fuel, as a sign that they are stepping outside of their comfort zone and into their growth zone. When they hit roadblocks, they don't throw up their hands and quit. They ask, how can I go over, around, or through this? Most people spend their lives stuck in the same patterns, repeating the same mistakes, making the same excuses, because they never change the way they think. They live with limiting beliefs that they never question, beliefs that were given to them by their parents, their teachers, their environment. They accept those beliefs as facts, never realizing that they have the power to challenge them, to rewrite them, to create new beliefs that serve them instead of hold them back. The difference between someone who thrives and someone who struggles is not their circumstances. It is how they interpret their circumstances. Two people can experience the same setback. One sees it as a dead end, the other sees it as a challenge to overcome. Two people can face the same rejection. One takes it as proof that they are not good enough. The other takes it as motivation to get better. Two people can grow up in the same difficult environment. One lets it define them. The other uses it as fuel to create a different future. Every single day, you have the power to choose your perspective. You can choose to see problems, or you can choose to see possibilities. You can choose to dwell on what's wrong, or you can choose to focus on what's within your control. You can choose to let your past dictate your future, or you can choose to create a new story. Your success, your happiness, your ability to achieve your goals, it all comes down to the way you think. Most people wait for their circumstances to change before they change their mindset. They think, when I have more money, then I'll believe I'm successful. When I achieve my goal, then I'll believe I'm capable. When I get the opportunity, then I'll believe in myself. But that's backward. You don't wait for external proof before shifting your mindset. You shift your mindset first, and the results follow. You believe in yourself before you have the evidence. You act like the person you want to become before you see the rewards. Your mind is a muscle, and just like any other muscle, it needs to be trained. You don't wake up one day with an unshakable mindset. It's something you build every single day through repetition, through discipline, through conscious effort. You train yourself to think differently by feeding your mind with new information, by surrounding yourself with people who challenge and inspire you, by practicing gratitude instead of negativity, by pushing yourself to take action even when it feels uncomfortable. If you want to change your life, you must start by taking control of the conversations happening inside your own head. What do you tell yourself on a daily basis? Do you fill your mind with thoughts that empower you or thoughts that drain you? Do you speak to yourself like a winner or like a victim? Do you remind yourself of your strengths or do you dwell on your weaknesses? Because whether you realize it or not, every thought you think is shaping your future. Your mind will either work for you or against you. It will either push you forward or hold you back. It will either make excuses or find solutions. And the choice is yours. You can choose to remain stuck in the same patterns, repeating the same self-defeating thoughts, or you can choose to reprogram your mind for success. You can choose to see the world through a lens of scarcity, or you can choose to see the world through a lens of abundance. You can choose to focus on all the reasons why you can't, or you can choose to focus on all the reasons why you must. Every great achievement in history started with someone who had the courage to think differently. Every breakthrough, every innovation, every world-changing idea came from someone who refused to accept the limits that others imposed on them. The people who change the world are not the ones who follow the crowd. They are the ones who challenge the status quo, who think bigger, who refuse to settle for what is. If you want to achieve more, to become more, to experience more, you must be willing to do the work where it matters most, inside your own mind. Because the moment you shift your mindset, the moment you take control of your thoughts, the moment you refuse to let fear and doubt dictate your actions, everything changes. Action beats talent when talent hesitates. Stop waiting, start doing. In every arena of life, the real winners are not always the most talented, the most gifted, or the most naturally skilled. The real winners are the ones who take action. They are the ones who step up while others hold back, who take the shot while others hesitate, who move forward while others are stuck in their heads, overthinking every possible outcome. The world is filled with talented people who never achieve anything significant because they wait too long, think too much, and fear too deeply. Meanwhile, those who act, those who are willing to fail, to learn, to adjust, and to keep going, are the ones who rise to the top. Talent is overrated. It's a great starting point, but it's not enough. Raw talent means nothing without execution. There are brilliant minds with ideas that never see the light of day. There are incredible athletes who never reach their full potential because they refuse to outwork the competition. There are skilled artists, entrepreneurs, and innovators who never break through because they are waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect plan. But success does not come to those who wait. It comes to those who move, who adapt, who make things happen even when they don't have all the answers. There is a myth that success belongs to the chosen few, to those who are born with something special, with an advantage that others don't have. But if you look closely, you'll see that most of the people who succeed at the highest level were not the most talented. They were simply the ones who refused to stop. They were the ones who showed up day after day, who put in the work when no one was watching, who made mistakes and kept going, who faced rejection and kept pushing. They weren't afraid to look foolish, to get knocked down, to put themselves in situations where they could fail. They understood that success is not about getting it perfect. It's about getting it going. The hesitation to take action is what kills dreams. The person who hesitates is always at the mercy of the person who moves. The person who waits for the right time will always be beaten by the person who creates the right time. The person who overthinks every detail will always be outrun by the person who is willing to learn on the fly. The battlefield of life does not favor the hesitant. It favors the bold, the relentless, the ones who are willing to step into the unknown without all the answers. Most people believe they need confidence before they take action, but that's backward. Action creates confidence. Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you earn by doing. Every time you take a step forward, every time you push yourself past your comfort zone, every time you take on a challenge that scares you, you build an internal strength that no amount of thinking can give you. You learn that you can figure things out as you go. You learn that failure is not the end, but a stepping stone. You learn that progress is better than perfection and that movement is always better than standing still. Hesitation is the enemy of greatness. Every second spent doubting, delaying, or debating is a second lost to someone else who is willing to take action. The best opportunities do not wait. They do not stand still. They go to the ones who are ready, the ones who move first, the ones who don't waste time second guessing themselves. The world does not reward potential. It rewards execution. No one cares how good you could be if you never show up and prove it. No one cares how brilliant your ideas are if you never act on them. No one remembers the person who almost did something great. The person who acts will always outshine the person who hesitates. They may not be the smartest, the most skilled, or the most prepared, but they are the ones who show up. They are the ones who try, fail, adjust, and try again. They are the ones who understand that progress is messy, that mistakes are part of the process, that action is the only thing that separates those who dream from those who achieve. They don't wait to feel ready because they know readiness is a myth. They don't wait for permission because they know no one is coming to save them. They don't wait for the perfect plan because they know plans mean nothing without execution. Fear is what keeps most people stuck. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking bad, fear of making the wrong move. But here's the truth. Failure is not the enemy. Inaction is. Rejection is not the enemy. Playing it safe is. Making the wrong move is not the problem. Never making a move at all is. The only real failure is the failure to try. The only way to guarantee you never succeed is to never take action in the first place. The greatest regrets in life are not the times you tried and failed, they are the times you never tried at all. Most people think success is about having the right resources, the right circumstances, the right conditions. But the truth is, success is about resourcefulness, about using what you have where you are, about finding a way, even when the odds are against you. The person who waits for the perfect conditions will always be left behind by the person who is willing to start with whatever they've got. The world is full of people who had nothing and made something out of it. The difference was not their talent. It was their willingness to take action, to move before they were ready, to take risks when others played it safe. Every great achievement in history came from someone who refused to wait. The greatest businesses, the most inspiring works of art, the most groundbreaking inventions, they all started with someone who was willing to take the first step without knowing exactly how it would turn out. They were willing to start before they had all the answers, to put themselves out there, to take the kind of risks that most people avoid. They were willing to fail, to look foolish, to be criticized, to be doubted, and to keep going anyway. Hesitation is a habit. The more you hesitate, the more you train yourself to hesitate. The more you wait, the easier it becomes to keep waiting. But action is also a habit. The more you take action, the more you train yourself to be someone who moves. The more you push forward, the easier it becomes to keep pushing. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is that the successful ones have conditioned themselves to act, even when they don't feel like it, even when it's uncomfortable, even when fear is whispering in their ear. Your dreams, your goals, your potential, they all depend on your ability to take action. Not someday, not when you feel ready, not when the circumstances are perfect, but right now. The world does not wait for those who hesitate. It rewards those who are willing to step forward, to take risks, to put themselves on the line, to move even when they are scared. Because in the end, talent is only potential. And potential means nothing without action. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the foundation of it. Most people are terrified of failure. They avoid it at all costs, treating it like a disease that must be escaped, a mark of shame that must be hidden. But the truth is, failure is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Failure is not the thing that stops you from succeeding. It is the thing that teaches you how to succeed. Every single person who has ever achieved something great has failed more times than they can count. They did not avoid failure. They did not run from it. They used it. They learned from it. They allowed it to shape them, to refine them, to make them stronger. Success is not a straight line. It is not a smooth road. It is a messy, unpredictable, painful journey filled with obstacles, setbacks, and disappointments. It is a process of trial and error, of pushing forward, falling down, and getting back up. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not that the successful ones never failed, it is that they never let failure stop them. They saw failure for what it really is: feedback, a lesson, an opportunity to grow. They understood that every mistake, every rejection, every setback was a necessary part of the journey. Failure does not mean you are not good enough. It does not mean you should quit. It does not mean you are not capable of achieving your goals. Failure simply means you are in the process of learning. It means you are stretching yourself beyond your comfort zone, taking risks, and putting yourself in a position to grow. The only people who never fail are the ones who never try, the ones who play it safe, the ones who never take a chance on their dreams. But playing it safe is the biggest risk of all, because it guarantees one thing: you will never know what you are truly capable of. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who avoided failure. They are the ones who failed more than anyone else. They are the ones who took more risks, faced more rejection, made more mistakes, and kept going anyway. They are the ones who understood that failure is not permanent unless you quit. They saw failure as a stepping stone, not a dead end. They refused to let temporary setbacks define them. They refused to let fear of failure control their actions. Think about any great athlete, entrepreneur, artist, or leader. They did not rise to the top by getting everything right on the first try. They did not succeed because they were lucky or because they never experienced setbacks. They succeeded because they were willing to fail, to learn, to adjust, and to keep going. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school team. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, failed thousands of times before finding success. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. These are not stories of people who avoided failure. These are stories of people who used failure as fuel. Most people do not reach their full potential because they are paralyzed by the fear of failure. They let it stop them before they even begin. They are so afraid of making mistakes, so afraid of looking foolish, so afraid of rejection that they never take the first step. But what they don't realize is that failure is not the thing to be afraid of. The real thing to fear is regret. The regret of never trying. The regret of wondering what could have been. If only you had taken the risk. If only you had pushed a little harder. If only you had been willing to fail and keep going. Failure is not personal. It is not a reflection of your worth, your intelligence, or your ability. It is simply part of the process. It is a test to see how badly you want something. It is a challenge to see if you will push through or give up. It is a filter that separates those who are truly committed from those who are not. The people who succeed are not necessarily the most talented, the most gifted, or the most prepared. They are the ones who refuse to quit. They are the ones who take every failure, every setback, every disappointment, and use it as fuel to become better, stronger, and more determined. Failure builds resilience. It teaches you how to handle adversity. It forces you to develop mental toughness, to adapt, to find new ways to approach challenges. Every time you fail and get back up, you become stronger. Every time you push through a setback, you build the kind of inner strength that cannot be taught in books, that cannot be gained by playing it safe. You develop the ability to handle pressure, to deal with uncertainty, to keep moving forward no matter what obstacles come your way. Failure also builds wisdom. It teaches you what works and what doesn't. It gives you insights and experiences that you could never gain by sitting on the sidelines. It forces you to think creatively, to problem solve, to find solutions. The most valuable lessons in life do not come from success. They come from failure. They come from the moments when things don't go as planned, when you are forced to rethink your approach, when you are pushed to find new ways to achieve your goals. The way you respond to failure determines your success. You can let it break you or you can let it build you. You can let it discourage you or you can let it drive you. You can see it as proof that you are not good enough, or you can see it as proof that you are on the right path, that you are pushing yourself beyond your limits, that you are growing into the person you need to become. Your mindset around failure is everything. If you see it as a disaster, it will destroy you. If you see it as a lesson, it will empower you. The people who achieve greatness are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who fail forward. They are the ones who take every setback as a learning opportunity, every mistake as a stepping stone, every rejection as motivation to improve. They are the ones who refuse to let failure define them. They understand that success is not about avoiding failure. It is about learning from it, growing from it, and using it to become unstoppable. Failure is temporary. It is only final if you give up. Every great success story is built on a foundation of failures, on moments of doubt, on setbacks that seemed impossible to overcome. But the difference between those who succeed and those who don't is simple. Those who succeed refuse to quit. They keep going when others stop. They get back up when others stay down. They learn, they adapt, they improve, and they keep moving forward no matter how many times they fall. The only limits that truly exist are the ones you accept. From the moment we are born, we are surrounded by limits, rules, expectations, beliefs about what is possible and what is not. Some of these limits are necessary for survival, but most of them are illusions. Most of them are stories we have been told, ideas we have absorbed from society, from family, from teachers, from experiences, from failure, from rejection. Somewhere along the way, we start to believe these stories. We start to believe that we are not capable of more, that we are not meant for greatness, that success is for other people. We buy into the idea that we can only go so far, that we can only achieve so much, that we can only become what others have told us we can be. But the truth is, these limits are not real. They only have power because we give them power. They only exist because we choose to believe in them. The moment we decide to challenge them, the moment we refuse to accept them, they begin to crumble. History is filled with people who defied the limits placed on them. People who broke through barriers that others believed were impossible to break. Every major breakthrough in human history, every great invention, every revolutionary idea, every incredible achievement came from someone who refused to accept the limits that others accepted. It came from someone who asked, "Why not me?" It came from someone who looked at the so-called impossible and decided to go after it anyway. The most dangerous limits are not the ones imposed by the outside world. They are the ones we impose on ourselves. They are the beliefs we carry in our minds, the doubts we allow to control us, the fears that keep us small. We tell ourselves stories about why we can't, why it won't work, why we aren't good enough, smart enough, strong enough. We repeat these stories so often that they become our reality, but they are just that, stories. And like any story, they can be rewritten. The only difference between people who achieve extraordinary things and people who stay stuck is the way they think about limits. The successful refuse to accept them. They push against them, break them, rewrite them. They refuse to let limiting beliefs dictate their future. The mind is the most powerful force on the planet. It can create reality, shape the future, turn dreams into tangible results. But it can also destroy, imprison, and hold us back. What you believe about yourself determines what you will attempt. What you attempt determines what you achieve. If you believe you are limited, you will act in a limited way. If you believe you are capable of more, you will push yourself beyond what you thought possible. The world will always try to tell you who you are, what you can do, what you cannot do. It will try to box you in, to make you conform, to convince you that your limits are real. But you do not have to accept this. You do not have to let the world define you. You do not have to let other people's opinions become your reality. The greatest breakthroughs happen when someone refuses to accept limits, when someone dares to ask, what if? When someone decides that the rules do not apply to them, that they will not be confined by what others think is possible. Every great athlete, every great innovator, every great leader has done this. They have looked at the barriers in front of them and said, I will not stop. They have faced rejection, failure, and doubt and kept going. They have ignored the voices telling them it cannot be done and done it anyway. Limits are nothing more than mental chains. And the only way to break free from them is to stop believing in them. The only way to prove them wrong is to act in spite of them. Most people never reach their full potential because they are living inside a prison they built themselves. They do not need a guard at the door because they have convinced themselves that the walls are real. They have stopped questioning their beliefs, stopped testing their abilities, stopped pushing against what they think is possible. They do not fail because they are not capable. They fail because they never even try. They assume that success is for other people, that greatness is for the lucky few, that they do not have what it takes. But the truth is, there is no difference between them and the people who succeed except for one thing: belief. The belief that limits are illusions, that barriers are meant to be broken, that the impossible is just something that has not been done yet. Your potential is far greater than you think. You are capable of more than you realize, but you will never know that unless you test it. You will never see how far you can go unless you push beyond where you are now. Growth only happens outside of comfort. Strength is only built through resistance. Confidence is only gained through action. Every time you challenge a limit, you expand what is possible for you. Every time you refuse to accept a restriction, you grow stronger. The more you push, the more you realize that the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you can have it. The people who change the world are not the ones who accept it as it is. They are the ones who challenge it, question it, refuse to settle. They are the ones who look at what has never been done and decide to do it. They are the ones who refuse to let limits define them. They understand that every great achievement was once considered impossible. Every major breakthrough was once thought to be out of reach. But someone somewhere decided to prove otherwise. Someone somewhere chose to believe that there were no limits except the ones they were willing to accept. The only way to know what you are truly capable of is to stop accepting limits. Stop listening to the voice that says you can't. Stop playing small because you are afraid to fail. Stop letting the fear of looking foolish stop you from trying. The most successful people in the world are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who failed and kept going. They are the ones who faced obstacles and pushed through. They are the ones who refused to believe in limitations. They understood that every time they stepped beyond their comfort zone, they were expanding their own possibilities. Everything you want is on the other side of the limits you have accepted. The career you dream of, the body you want, the skills you wish you had, the impact you want to make. All of it is possible if you are willing to challenge what you believe is possible. You do not have to be the smartest, the strongest, the most talented. You just have to be the one who refuses to quit. You have to be the one who keeps going when others stop. You have to be the one who decides that no matter how many times you fall, you will rise again. Most people live and die inside the limits they never question. They settle for less than they want because they do not believe they can have more. But the people who change their lives, the people who break barriers, the people who inspire others are the ones who ask themselves one powerful question: what if I'm capable of more? They are the ones who take action despite their fears, who push beyond what they thought was possible, who refuse to let the past define the future. They are the ones who understand that limits are illusions, and the only way to break them is to stop believing in them.